Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our primary bathroom makeover. My name's Diana and I'm excited for you to join me today. So this will be the conclusion of our bathroom makeover. In part 1, you saw us work on an accent wall. Here we added some trim to that wall, caulked, sanded, did all the things, and it turned out so well and I couldn't be more excited. We also removed the mirror, and then we did some repair work on that back wall, removing some of the glue, filling in the holes with spackle, sanding, and getting ready for a fresh new coat of paint. Painting is always a chore, but if you do the prep work properly, it turns out beautifully. And like I said before in our previous video, you have to do the prep work properly. So we painted the doors, the ceiling, the trim, the walls, everything got a fresh coat of paint. And I went with Benjamin Moore Simply White. And after painting, we went in and added some of the fixtures. So we added 2 new light fixtures, this one here that goes above the mirror, and then we also added a pendant light over the toilet area. We also added towel bars and doorknobs and hinges. Everything is new with the exception of the shower head and things like that. But yeah, this is where we left off from the last time, and we'll pick up here and work on the rest. Thanks for joining me, guys. So we're starting off by working on the vanity. So I decided to give this a coat of paint. This is not real wood, so staining it a different color was not really an option. And it was pretty dinged up. This is the original vanity that we've had since our home was built 20 years ago. And so we started off by cleaning it really well and then went in and gave it a light sand. We sanded the carcass of the vanity as well as the doors. These 4, they look like cabinets, but they're just faux cabinets. We decided not to remove those. I don't even know for sure if we could have removed those even if we wanted to. So I just painted those in place. But yeah, so we started off with a light sanding, and then I went back in and cleaned everything up. We sprayed the doors outside, and then I painted the carcass with a paintbrush and roller. And the color paint that I decided to go with was actually a Sherwin Williams color called Artichoke. I just prefer to buy paint from Ace. Our local Ace is right around the corner from our house, and we've gotten to know them pretty well doing all these projects around our home. And I just like the Benjamin Moore paint, and I like being able to go in there and get what I need and get out. I feel like at Lowe's, Home Depot, those kind of places, you just stand in line forever. So I just prefer the Benjamin Moore paint. And I prefer getting it from Ace because they are very friendly there. So here I'm giving everything a good clean, and then we'll get started on painting this vanity. So while I worked on painting the carcass here inside, my husband was spraying the doors outside. I have not attempted yet to use the paint sprayer. I've kind of left that to him. We did recently buy a new paint sprayer that's actually more of a professional paint sprayer. So hopefully I will feel more comfortable in future and can give that a shot. But until then, I appreciate that he steps in and handles that for me. I do feel like spraying the paint has a better look. It's cleaner. Of course, spraying the cabinet carcasses would be a pain. It was so much more taping and everything we'd have to do, so I prefer just to paint with a brush and roll that. And here's my husband spraying those doors for me. I will be honest, I wanted a darker color green and my husband wanted a lighter color green, so we kind of met in the middle and went with this artichoke color, and I really do like how it turned out. It's a beautiful color. I've never seen anyone use it before. Highly suggested if it's something that you might be interested in, and it really does pop up against the freshly painted walls. And I love that Simply White is more of a warm white. It's not that stark white, so I definitely loved how this paint color turned out. And again, green's my favorite color, so I was very happy with it. Now we're removing the sinks because we will be painting the countertops. Now I've seen a couple people use this product before and they just taped around the sinks. My husband and I both agreed that we thought it would look more crisp and fresh if we removed the sinks and cleaned all of that old caulk and gunk, 20 years of buildup from around the sinks, and put the sinks back in once we're done with new caulk and everything. It would just look more fresh and again clean, and so that's what we decided to do. So we of course unhooked all of the pipes and everything from below, and then my husband worked on getting these sinks out. It wasn't easy. I mean, he had to really work at it a couple of times, and I will tell you, when it finally popped, because it had released from the countertop, it freaked me out for a minute because I thought we had broken the sinks, but it didn't. And we did go back and forth about buying new sinks entirely, but decided just to stick with the ones we had. There's nothing wrong with these, and down the line we plan on putting in stone countertops, and we'll buy new sinks at that point. So again, trying to keep this budget friendly and not go crazy with buying a ton of new things. After we removed the sinks and cleaned all of the old caulk and everything from the countertops, we decided to tape some of this brown paper here underneath, just to make sure when we painted the countertop that nothing fell through and got inside the cabinet. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but we just wanted to take the precaution to make sure to keep it as clean as possible. And then of course I taped off the front of the cabinet where we had recently painted that as well to keep it as clean as possible, and ran tape around the back edges of the countertop as well to protect the wall. So this product I've seen used a couple of times, and it was very intriguing to me, and I thought I wanted to give it a shot, and our bathroom was the perfect opportunity to do that. And it's a countertop painting kit, but it has little pieces of actual stone that's ground up inside of the paint, so it gives it a really solid surface and gives it a stone look, because it does have actual pieces of ground stone inside. It was very easy to use. It was not the cheapest thing, that I've ever seen. I think it was around $300 and I got it at Lowe's, but we had more than enough. We had tons of product left over for this size, countertop. So you could definitely stretch it a bit further. And we attempted to give the countertop a sand as well. We thought maybe if we got some of that shiny finish off of the laminate that it would stick better. We really didn't get far with the sanding. I think it was kind of a waste of time personally, but we had tried it anyway. So here's a look at, this is step 1 that we had to use, and it's kind of like a primer in a way. It's like a creamy color, and so I just went in with a brush and stippled that along the seams and the edges and things like that, and then went in with a roller and rolled the rest of the countertop. So this kit comes with everything that you're seeing here. It comes with the roller, the tray, the stipple brush, and a couple of roller heads. It does recommend that after each use that you rinse everything out and clean it really well, because you will use it again. But yeah, I think it turned out really well. You had to wait a couple hours in between each time you painted. I don't remember exactly what it was, but again, the instructions were very easy to follow. I had absolutely no trouble. I did paint the countertop a majority by myself. My husband did come in and help with the sanding, but turned out pretty good for what I was looking for. So here I am rolling on that layer, and then I'll go back in after this has fully cured. I think I added a second layer, but honestly I don't remember. We'll see here in the video, and again, instructions were very simple. So here I am adding the actual layer that has the stone, ground stone in it. You do have to mix this really well, but you don't want to shake it. So you just take a stir stick, like a paint stir stick, and mix it very well, because all of that ground stone has settled to the bottom. So mix that pretty well, and then again, you repeat the same process as before. Stipple it on in the edges and around the seams, and then go in with the roller. And after this has dried, you have to go in with a sander. Now you can sand by hand, but I will say it is quite the workout. There were some areas that I had to sand by hand just because the orbital sander wouldn't necessarily get into those edges and things, but we decided to go in with the orbital sander, and it went much faster. I will say it does make a bit of a mess unless you have a good vacuum system on your orbital sander, which we did, thankfully. But it turned out really well. And after this layer, I think I did do 2 of these as well, just to make sure that it had a nice thick coat on it. And after this layer and after sanding, then you go in and add the top coat, which seals everything down. Now that the countertops are pretty well dried, my husband went ahead and removed that plastic and put on the cabinet doors, and these turned out so pretty. I love the color. He's already added the hardware to these as well. These are just some simple antique gold knobs that I got off of Amazon, and I went with a mixed metal look here in the bathroom, so I did antique gold and black. So the mirrors and the knobs are antique gold, but most of the other fixtures, the light fixtures, towel bars, toilet paper holder, doorknobs, hinges, all of that, I went with black. I felt like it would be hard to match the antique gold throughout the bathroom because I was getting them from different vendors and places and things like that, and I kind of like the mixed metal look, so that's what we decided to go with, and I think it turned out beautifully. And I think the antique gold against this green is really, really pretty. I wanted to add one tip to the countertops, something I wish I had done that I didn't, and I think it would have made it a lot easier. So I wish I had gone in and removed the tape around the top of the countertop while it was still wet. Let it dry a little bit, but remove it before it fully cured. I did have to go in with an X-Acto knife and kind of cut it, to make sure it didn't pull anything up. I think it would have been easier if I had removed it while the countertop was still a little wet. So that's my tip there. And again, that same thing with, when you're painting walls or furniture or anything like that. And I just didn't do that, and I kind of wish I had. I think it would have been easier and it would have been cleaner. So now that the sinks are going in, because the countertop's fully dried, we just added some glue to those sinks, and you can see the new faucets and stopper here that we added. Again, I picked those up from Amazon, and I'll have everything linked down below. And then we added some caulk around the sinks just to complete those. This shower curtain rod I picked up from Amazon as well, and I really liked it because it's one of the curved rods. So in the kids' bathroom, we have a curved rod in there, and it really feels like you have a little bit more elbow room with a shower curtain, and I wanted the same thing in our bathroom. And I like too that the shower curtain doesn't stick to you, or it's not in your way. It just made the shower feel a little bit bigger, and so I went with the curved rod again in black and really like it. So far I've had no issues with it whatsoever. I also picked up some shower hooks, shower curtain hooks from Amazon as well. And I like the ones that are doubled, because I like to change my liners pretty often. They get kind of grimy, and so it's just easier to be able to take the liner off without having to remove the shower curtain and the liner. So yeah, I went with the double hooks. Again, purchased those from Amazon, and I'll have those linked as well. So here you can see I'm having to go in with a razor blade and cut this tape away, and it wasn't hard. I just think it would have been so much cleaner if I had done it the other way. So I would suggest doing that if you're going to use this product, and it'll just turn out cleaner, and it won't be quite so difficult to remove. finally done with all the painting for the walls, the cabinet, everything, and we can put this bathroom back together. So we're putting in the air vents. We did paint those outside with the sprayer so they look nice and fresh and new. Finally get to remove this paper off the bathroom floor. We've had it seems like forever on the bathroom floor, so it's nice, even though I hate my tile, to actually see my tile again. I said in part 1, you know, we were trying to make this easy and budget friendly, so we did not touch the shower tub combo or the tile on the floor. However, I did have someone come in and professionally clean the tile, and it looked so much better. If you've never had that done, I highly recommend it. I get it done probably once a year, and it makes the grout and everything look brand new. So I would definitely recommend doing that. You call any of your local like carpet cleaning companies, and they can come out and do that. So this is the hooks and everything that I was talking about earlier, and the shower curtain I went with is like a linen color shower curtain, and I got it off of Amazon, and I got one that was longer than your typical shower curtain because I hate the front of our shower, if that makes sense. So we have a jetted tub, which we never use. I absolutely hate it and cannot wait until we can remove it. But it has this tile along the front of the shower, and like the foot part, I guess, that you have to step into. I hate it. It's so ugly. So I like to cover it with the shower curtain. So I did order an extra long one, and it just touches the bottom of the floor, and I love that look. So here I'm finally getting to put in all of the accessories and finalize this bathroom. So the soap pumps I owned previously. I bought those years ago at Home Goods. I like the clear glass look because I like to see how much soap I have left. I know it's crazy, but I like the clear glass so I can see how much soap I have, and then when I refill it, I don't have to worry about it spilling over the top of the soap pump. But I did switch out the pumps. I ordered this set of 2 of the pumps from Amazon. The marble tray I picked up from Target. The canisters I've had for a while. This art print I've had for a while. It's just a picture of a really pretty pine. Where we live, we have tons of pine trees everywhere, so kind of goes for perfectly for the area that we live in. These little canisters I've had for a long time, and I thought the green worked perfectly in here. The basket I picked up from Target, and then the washcloths I picked up from TJ Maxx. So I just rolled those up and placed them in the basket. So this plant, kind of funny. This is obviously a faux plant that I picked up from Target. It had one of those ugly white plastic containers. I purposely hit the container with a hammer and peeled it and broke it off because I wanted it in a pretty pot, and all of the pots that I had, it wouldn't fit down inside of it without seeing it. So I broke it off and just stuck the styrofoam part down in the bottom, and you would never be the wiser. No one can ever tell that I did that. So I added that. I always like to keep a reed diffuser in here, and then I keep all of our soaps in a jar as well. We like to keep those out. We go through soap pretty regularly, and of course, why not? It's a bathroom. I also put a basket on the back of our toilet to hold all of our toilet paper, and then I bought a new trash can that matches that woven basket from Target. And the trash cans from Target, the baskets from Walmart, but they match perfectly. This runner I got from Amazon. It's one of the June Alloy runners, and then I later on, which I didn't do in this video, I added some sticky tabs to the back that I also ordered from Amazon. They just go on the 4 corners, and you can actually still remove the rug without leaving residue everywhere. They worked really well, so I'll have those linked as well. And that pretty much completes the bathroom. I could not be more excited about how this turned out. Oh, one other thing. Yes, I did add a little greenery here in the corner. I felt like it was missing something. So I did add this little stool and this greenery again that I had in my stash. And I love how it turned out. It's so fresh and crisp and clean, and I could not be happier with it. It was definitely a labor of love, but could not be happier. And these mirrors, oh, chef's kiss. Guys, I love these mirrors. They're probably my favorite thing in this entire bathroom. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope it inspires you to get in there with a little elbow grease and a little work and make something your own. It's so rewarding when you do that. And again, could not be happier with how this turned out. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, guys, bye.